very good morning and welcome to another beautiful edition of the program Global Morning, a program where we have education, we entertain ourselves, we learn, and we get running with information. My name is Ubong Musoro, welcoming you to another weekend of the program, and as usual, Sadia Yakubu is here. Very good morning, Sadia.
Good morning, Ubong Musoro, and happy Saturday. It's
Thank
Saturday
you.
again.
Yes, it is.
So what are your plans for today?
Right, I'll spend most of my day here, go home, rest. And
Not most of your day, you spend your day.
spend my whole day here, right? Then go home, then see if I can do rest a bit.
Alright.
Which one or two?
if you can do one or two though. Yeah. You know, you are a lover man.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
You're not talking about love.
I don't
you're not talking about relationship. Maybe you might just do one or two.
No, not now. I don't have the energy for that at the moment.
Alright, good morning, the viewers from wherever you're watching from. I am Sadia Yakubu saying a wonderful good morning and happy weekend. How is it going from your end? As usual, welcome to a weekend edition of our Global Morning.
Right, so let's start this way before we get into the papers. Something that has been trending now. The federal government, through the Ministry of Finance, have decided to sign some tax, reduction for importation of some things into Nigeria. So one has been for electric vehicles and they call it EV or gas-powered vehicle, right? Those vehicles now come into the country with zero import duty and zero custom duty. Right? So if you're importing
Those vehicles,
the EV, electric vehicle, or you're importing these CNG vehicles into Nigeria, you're not paying anything for import duties. Then also for fairly used cars, which we like calling Tokumbo, almost 80% of users in Nigeria use those cars. The import duties have also been slashed by 50%. All right. So, and also for new cars, import duty has also been slashed, I think, by 10% or thereabout. So prices of cars have now, I've seen some importers on TikTok and on other platforms complaining that the prices they bought their vehicles have almost gone twice. Some vehicles you bought for about 120 million is now going for about 60 million. Vehicles people bought for 50 million are now going for about 30, 25 million. So vehicle people bought for 10 million are now going for 5 million. So I saw importers complaining. But I just wanted to highlight how one policy of government can bring in so much change, and the need for Nigerians to be intentional in interrogating government, to asking them, holding them to account, so that it can bring about valuable change, especially as we move towards 2027 general elections.
Yeah, for me, it's a good move to begin with. It's a good move, but then, how many persons have met their needs? Like, how many persons were able to do one of two things? Using a vehicle now for me is for the high class persons, because people like me,
let
me just use this Nigerian language. I persuade don't chop belly food, 90 car. So you see,
not totally
someone
true.
That for me, that I said for me.
You can. There are
people that have multiple problems outside. Like before they talk about feeding, before they talk about clothing and other necessities, before talking about car. Right. So if they tried on their own part, that's a very good one. But then I think they should work more on the petroleum sector. Right. Let the price of petroleum drop drastically. All Nigerians want is just for the fuel pump price to be reduced. So once you reduce the fuel pump price, we know that every other thing will be reduced.
Absolutely. I also totally agree with you, because as we know, even in civilized world, right, choosing to buy a car is a luxury, and it's at your own convenience, right? So you now have the choice. But if we had a functional transportation system, many persons wouldn't even desire to buy cars, right? If you know that you can get to your bus station by 7 a.m., there's a bus to pick you up.
From there.
Right, from there. You know, you can leave at Kuje. Yeah, we have train now from Kuje too, but we need more route time. People call it route time, but route is actually American. Route time, right? Moving from here to there, moving. So if we know that, okay, every 30 minutes there will be a train that will be departing from that place, people will plan their life around that, right? I even feel that one of my friends, Basi, he works with Hip City Innovation, great guy, he's into housing, was speaking about the fact that on weekends, Abuja seemed to, look like a ghost town because many persons don't really come out on weekends, right? And if we had a functional transportation system like you've mentioned, I wouldn't mind to live in places like even Buhari, right? But I know that in 30 minutes there's a train that takes me to the city center, takes me to central area, and it doesn't fail.
Yeah.
So what's the heck? 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you get on your train, 6:30, you're in town already. You plan your day around that. So once we have a functional transportation system, many persons will not even think about getting vehicles, and people that get vehicles will be because they really want to get the vehicle, right? Yeah. So like you said, it's all encompassing. It's good that the prices are coming down now. More Nigerians will be able to afford vehicles, right? And we know how important vehicle is, especially in a place like Abuja.
Yeah.
For you to move about, right, you may need to get a vehicle to be able to do a lot of things. Right? So the government has started well, but we need at least let petrol be, for me, should be sold for under 500 naira. I think that would be fair. If a liter of petrol goes for 400 naira, for me, I think that would be fair enough.
So you see, let them just try. Let them look into the issue of the petroleum sector. So that I would see if, even though I know the president has announced removal of subsidy the very first time he came into power, so that has it has worked and it has not worked. So 50-50 something. I don't want to go deep into that conversation this morning.
All right, so let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll take the papers. Please stay with us. Alright, so welcome back to the program. This is when we get to look at what the papers are saying on a Saturday morning. Remember, information to say is power, right? Or I'll put it this way. Information we know is power. Alright, so let's look at what the papers are saying. Sadia, you help us with the first newspaper for the day, which happens to be Saturday, right? Today is Saturday, the 25th day of July. This month has been running quite fast.
Yeah, so the first paper for today is The Guardian Weekend Edition.
Guardian?
Right. Yeah, and the lead story, Court battles defections that may shape 2026 poll. 2027 poll, I beg your pardon.
Okay, the picture there, we have the picture of the INEC national chairman. We have the picture, that's Professor George Amopiton. We have the picture of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice, my Lord Justice, Kukure Kum.
Kekere, yeah.
Sorry, I said Kukure. Maybe I was thinking of Kukere. You know Kukere, right?
Yes, the Kukere dance.
No, I didn't know that. I said Kukere. You talk about that.
You know, if you say Kukere now for our kind of person, like those that grew up some years back, the first thing that will come to your mind is just the dance, Kukere dance by Nyanya, Nyanga, the house, what was that his name? So, I can't even remember his name, but I know that he sang a song, Kukere.
No, it's Nyanya now. You are correct.
So it's Nyanya. So you see.
I know today is Saturday, but let's calm down.
Today it's Saturday, so we need something light.
Absolutely, I agree with you. There's also a picture of the APC National Chairman, Professor Joash. No, Professor Natawe Yelwata. Another story on the paper says HCSF appointment. Civil service elders rally behind Adegoroye. It's on page 4 of the newspaper.
All right, granting Lagos special status in economic necessity.
I'll come back to that story because I seem to agree with that. What the World Cup can learn from Spain. It's on the football side of the newspaper.
All right, Nigerian grown as a petrol hit 1,400 per litre. You see, we just spoke about this. Like, if they could work on the petroleum sector to beat down the petroleum price. You're buying petrol before it was, let's start from 65 naira. All right, a gradual process, 100 and something.
It was on 120 for a long time.
120, then 200.
We were even complaining.
We were complaining bitterly. Then 90 something, then 200, then 300 per litre, 400, 500, 600, 7. From 1,000 plus, it came back to 900 and something. Went back again 1,200, 1,300, and now 1,400. Now my question is it that for we Nigerians we are going to we'll start buying fuel at the rate of 2,000 naira per litre? Is that the target or what?
You know, if they had told me some years ago, maybe 6 years ago, that we'll get to a place where we'll buy petrol for more than 1,000 per litre, I would not have believed. Right? If the same thing with dollar, if they had told me that we'll get to a time where a dollar to a naira will get to 1,000, because I remember when I was on radio those days, and those clips are here, they are still there. You know, I was on radio. I used to really, one of the things I criticized Buhari's government was the handling of the Forex, foreign reserve, and our monetary policy. We used to even say that with this rate it might get to 1,000.
And it's above 1,000
now, right? So we never even thought about it this way. So that's to show you how bad it's become. And the government have tried different explanation. It's not working. And I think the government should really be careful because this is prior to an election here.
Yeah.
Every government that wants to win election, even if it's by pretending, you pretend to bring human-friendly policies when it is close to elections, so that you won't have difficulty. Because unlike Atiku and Peter Obi, that will be coming to tell us what they will do, Tinubu cannot tell us what he will do. We are already seeing what he has done. So whatever parameters we are going to judge him with, his parameter will be different because we'll be judging him with what he has already done. While Atiku and Peter Obi and the rest of them, we may judge them by what they say they will do, which they've not had opportunity to do. But him is that opportunity. Yeah. So I think this one here remaining, he should use it to recalibrate his policies. And yes, there are we'll bring there some areas that are doing well. Like now I mentioned about the cars.
Yeah.
Right. We could talk about food prices have crashed significantly. Remember when we used to buy a mudu of gari for over 2,000? Now we can get it for 500. Bought some bags of rice of recent, right? We used to get it for about 100 and something. Now you can get it for about 50,000, 54 thereabout, depending on what you want. So those ones are. But these petroleum and rent, cement, right? Two things that if I should speak to the handlers of this government. And my friends in the government, I've sent them messages, I've told them, make sure you work with the prices of cement and make sure you crash the prices of petrol. Because this is what Nigerians will be able. House rent now, ₦1 million plus. Many persons, most Nigerians, their earnings have not increased, right? So you now ask yourself, why is there so much banditry, terrorism? Because many persons cannot afford to live lives, right? So it's crazy. But let's go back to the papers.
All right, let's go back to the paper. We have Sanwo-Olu launches building insurance scheme to tackle collapse projects, protect property owners.
All
That's
right.
on page.
Global attention fixed on Nigeria's 2027 election. That's coming from the INEC chairman.
All right, 2026, also 2026, Adeleke Oyebanji gets kudos for displaying political maturity amid rising tensions, and that's on page 2.
Nigeria has gained global investor confidence through reforms, says Tinubu. I may like to agree with that.
All right, so moving on to the next newspaper.
All right, we'll be looking at the next newspaper for
Weekend Trust
this morning, right? The Trust newspaper, weekend edition. Mary Abila, what went wrong? Mary Abila was a woman who was employed by the David Umahi, Federal Medical Center in Ebonyi State, and was subsequently seconded to the Ministry of Works, where she worked closely with the Minister of Housing, the Minister of Works in his personal team. Some say as a nurse, some say as a physiotherapist, but whatever was the case, she rendered good medical service to the minister and sadly lost her life in, some would say, questionable situations. Yeah,
according to some, like you said. So let's move from that story. I am blessed with 7 fantastic daughters. Alhaji Ibrahim Abba, NNPC retiree.
2027, INEC records over 6 million new votes. It's on page 8 of the newspaper.
All right, this one is a kind of funny and not funny. Inside story of Plateau's female vigilante. So now how females join in the vigilante.
Everybody, all hands must be on deck, because security is everybody's business, like they say, And when the terrorists or whatever names or appellation they like to go with come, they do not spare women, right? So if the women can't stand up, now all across the world we're having women join combat. We're having women not just in support roles, because for many centuries women in the army or in the military used to be support services, nurses, cooks, but now we're seeing some women who are going into the front lines, and anybody that wants, they can stand up and protect. If the men are not enough in number, or they've run away or whatever, the women can
how would they run away?
They can show, can teach them courage by standing up to the terrorists, right? The number of Nigerian women we have, I dare say, if the number of Nigerian women we have get into any confrontation, solidly behind all Nigerian women come out, no terrorist group can stand that.
Because,
right, we have very strong, hardworking, and energetic women. So it's sad that this is where we are, that our mothers, because these women are also mothers, they are sisters, they should be in school, they should be not, at this time being pregnant. But if this is what is needed to bring safety to their children,
they will do it.
Right.
All right, so last moments of brothers swept away by flood. That's on page 18 in case you want details of that story. Let's talk about this flood of it thing. So, you see, maybe much later I would bring up randoms where Ogochukwu spoke about a landlady requesting for rent from her from the tenant who already is dealing with flood.
I saw it, but what my mind just thought about it, I was like, so because you are dealing with flood issue, you will not pay rent. I don't understand that.
So what's your opinion? Do you think the landlady should allow the tenant deal with that problem first? How to find his or her own?
Right. I just felt that it wasn't
the appropriate time.
Yeah, the landlady wasn't. You know, there are people,
Yeah.
even in this office, there are people that are not. There are people that are socially awkward. There are people that are not socially sound, right? So because they are not socially sound, they can see you crying, and they'll be asking you for something at that time, right? So they are not socially able to look at mood. But even the way they talk, they are not socially aware of their speech. They just say what they want to say.
Whatever comes to their mind is
at
what
any
they
time.
do. Yeah.
So they are not reading the social mood. What is the mood of the place? Because there's something you can say and everybody will laugh. You say the same thing in another social space, you know, and I remember when we saw one of the days we saw he said, I said, this person is socially awkward. So he said, no, it's not socially awkward. You are being too kind.
By using that word.
He said the person is socially unavailable. There's no sense of social ability. You know, that ability when you grow up, you want to say something, your parents will tell you, is this the time you are saying this kind of thing? That ability to be able to read mood, to understand perception, to, you know, some people, they just say what they want to say. So I think this is the kind of landlady, because she's not socially aware that this is not the best time to deal with this problem, right? This is not the best approach to deal with this problem, right? There's a flood has gone into their room. You couldn't. It is your responsibility to make sure there's protection for your tenant. You couldn't do that. They are battling with losses. You couldn't do that. It's the same time you are going to ask for it. There's no right thinking person that will be happy about that. So it takes us to. It's not taught in school. That's the worst part of it.
You have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. Social ability, yes. Yeah. You just have to know it as a human being. Nobody will teach you that. So it is not taught in school. So you can have a master's from wherever. If you really even
you can know whoever you want to know, relate with whoever you want to relate with. But so long as social ability or social responsibility is concerned,
and you
must learn it.
You have problems with people because you have problems with your relationship. Because even with your wife, there are times that you may just need to leave her alone. And if you cannot understand that mood, you say, leave me. That's the time you say you want to play with her. Right, so it's neither here or there, like you said. Let's get back to our paper.
All right, let's go back to the next paper.
Okay, the Saturday Sun, right? The Sun newspaper Saturday edition. And lead theory says 2027. Atiku tackles Obasanjo, says opposing your third term bid. My only offense is unfair to say I bribed Naba, who is not alive to defend himself.
All right, only 80 million Nigerians have access to electricity. Federal government, and that's on page 25 of the Saturday Sun.
Are you part of that 80 million?
Yes, I am.
Court dismisses Mark Aribeshola's election objection to Gombe's suit. ADC is still battling with court cases.
All right, OT expresses worry over flooding, rising rents in Abia. He's talking about Abia State, why we have Abuja here to deal with for rents.
Adeleke, Algon at war over motor parks in Osun. Osun government silent over cracks on newly inaugurated flyover.
All right, death on waterways. 235 perish in boat mishaps in 19 months.
Very sad, right?
That's a sad story. 233 lives from like that.
How I moved from Clark to Nollywood star Eniola Aju. I'd just like to comment on Atiku and Obasanjo, right? When Obasanjo said something about Atiku within the week, you know, he mentioned that Atiku went to bribe the former Speaker of the House of Representatives during his first time, talking about Garba Naba, with 50 right, with 50 million naira, right, and so he said that, and you know, Obasanjo has said very unprintable things about Atiku over the years. If you read his book, his autobiography, a whole page was dedicated to demonize and denigrate and disintegrate the person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar for various reasons. You know, he talked about his overambitiousness, he talked about his, you know, not being a lot of veiled things were said, and you know, to my surprise, till today, Atiku has not sued Obasanjo for those character assassination. And with every election cycle, Obasanjo keeps throwing jabs at Atiku. You know, and Atiku had to respond this time around through his media, Frank Schreiber, his media communication assistant, and he asked Obasanjo, it's unfair to say I bribed Naba. Naba is not alive to
defend himself.
So, and the burial ground is not a witness box where you now put his name. Yeah. So it's your word against him. He's not here. But if even that be the case, it is whatever anger you have towards me is because I drafted your third term bid, and we know very well that Obasanjo, yes, he has said he never wanted third term, but there's sufficient evidence because a lot of persons who were in the house at that time and different forums have said that even monies were shared in Ghana must go to change the constitution for Obasanjo to be able to go for third term. So it's people like Atiku, them Saraki, and the rest of them that stood up and said, no, sir. You can
So I guess that's the heat between them.
They know what is their heat. They've talked about privatization, right? Atiku was the one in charge of privatization, and they've talked about how some of those things were privatized to companies that have affiliation with Atiku. But even when we could talk about the privatization as having failed, we can also talk about some aspect of the privatization. I just want to be balanced. I've also worked. For instance, Daily Times was owned by the Nigerian government. It was privatized. Till today, Daily Times is still there. Yeah. Transcorp, that we call it, it was called Nikon Luxury. Transcorp was owned by the federal government. It was privatized. Till today, Transcorp is still doing well. So there were some businesses that were privatized that were doing well. But there were some, or many, our steel industry, like President Tinubu mentioned the other day, Atiku privatized it. Till today, we don't have one ounce. And who were the ones, in charge of privatization? What were the percentages that Atiku got? These are questions some people have asked, and none of them should act sense. I just want to say it. None of them is a sense, because even Atiku, there's a Jefferson, letter from the US that has linked Atiku to corruption, and he has not answered to that, right? The same thing with our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There's a civil forfeiture of funds that were forfeited in Chicago, and that matter has not been clearly settled in Nigeria. At least it wasn't in our jurisdiction, it was in another country. So all these men seem to have had some level of skeletons in their pocket, in their cupboard. So they should allow us rest as Nigerians. They are old men in their rights, right? By the grace of God, we wish to get to their age. Amen. So we should not get to that age and be disturbing the young ones.
So let's move to the next paper, The Nation, Saturday edition.
The Nation
and the lead story, Atiku, Obasanjo war of words escalates over bribery claims. These are big.
He gave now about 5 million to impeachment, says former president. Ex-president, why wait until Speaker died before raising allegation? Because Naba died some years ago. Yeah. He was still alive all these years.
And you didn't bring up the issue. You ever thought about talking about the issue, the bribery issue? It's now, 2027,
yes,
2026.
The man has died. With all due respect, sir.
Yeah, so let's leave the dead person out of the issue. Let the both of them.
Let me just read what the person just said. Naba impeachment began at the presidency by the vice president, who, on a Friday, he even mentioned the day too, when I was out of office, invited Naba to his office and convinced him that I should have only one term as president. This was the act of a man I brought up from governorship to vice president. On Friday, he invited Naba. He gave him 5 million to begin his impeachment work.
All right, so let me just say a little thing here before we move. So you see, these acts of godfatherism in Nigeria is on another level currently. you see someone saying he brought this person as governor, but before you know, the person will just turn back. He brought in this person as president. Before you know, you say the person turned back on him. So I don't know. I think at this junction, they both need to work on themselves, both the bosses and the boys.
Absolutely, because like you said, Atiku won the governorship in 1999. He won as a governorship candidate of Adamawa State. It was before he was able to resume office that President, what's his name? President Obasanjo, seconded him to come and be vice president. And give it to Obasanjo. Obasanjo was not a politician at that time. He just came out from prison. He didn't really know politics. Atiku was already a rooted politician. Remember, he contested for president since 1993.
Oh, sorry, 93.
Yes, 93. So he was already very strong. So he was, Obasanjo have even said it in his book that he had to go on his knees to beg Atiku to support him for second term. Like a president going on his knees to beg a vice president. That was why when he now won the second term, he didn't treat him well. He made sure he fought him to a standstill, and he consistently said that Atiku cannot be president. Atiku cannot be.
Me, I think at this junction, I think they have a serious issue between them. There is something they are not willing to tell Nigeria.
Yes, even when they pretend that they've forgiven each other. Because I remember during Obasanjo's last birthday, Atiku was there. Obasanjo said all these words about Atiku, how is this, is that. So it means the forgiveness is not really, there's how you can forgive somebody superficially, but in your heart,
it's still there.
And Baba is a soldier. Soldiers don't really forget like that. It will take him time. So for an old man this blessed, because Baba is really blessed, right? Baba is still talking about this thing. It means the thing really bent Baba.
There is something between them that it's every year, and I know it's every year that Atiku comes out to contest for his presidential bid, that Baba will now start bringing up issues about him. He will sometimes
character to be trusted.
So I think going by their various ages, we have age gap between them. I think they shouldn't be talking about all these things now. They are already of age. They have children, they have grandchildren, they have great-grandchildren. They do, they shouldn't be talking about this. All they should be doing now, all of them should be doing, not them. So you see, I think they should what they should be doing now is coming up with ways, ideas of how to bring back the lost glories in Nigeria. Absolutely. How do we move forward? How do we tackle insecurity? How do we do this? How do we... I'm not pointing fingers of 5 million naira, privatization, who did this, who did what to who. That's my opinion, though.
I totally agree with you. All right, so Sadia, the next headline.
The next headlines. Osun 2026, please declare Emir ex-convicts wanted over political violence. NURTW rejects Adeleke suspension. Inaugurates caretaker committee, and that's on page 3.
I'm clearing pension mess you created. Tinubu slams Atiku. Says economy has been stabilized, vows to stay on course on reform. One of the other things, right, that you may not like the Tinubu's government, but you need to give it to them. During talking about Obasanjo's government, about 5 states were not able to pay salary at times. God was during Buhari, almost 15 states at the time were struggling to pay salary. But today, there's no state in Nigeria that has problems paying salary, and pensions are being paid, and that's what the president is saying. Atiku, you created this problem, and I'm still struggling to solve it. All right, so that's a much we can.
So no, before we call it a much, if the president is now saying Atiku is, let's say, cause of all this problem, then how do we then trust to vote him? That's a question some persons will start asking.
It could also be political, right? It could also be political. saying things, what you have to do is to demarket
your counterpart,
your opponent,
so
you can look good. And I'm sure when it gets to like the campaigns, Atiku also has a lot of things to say about Tinubu.
So they will then banter, they will keep bantering each other.
So Nigerians will choose what to do.
All right, till then.
Yeah, let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll get right into our first discussion for today.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@erojim.com. Website www.erojimdesign.com. Erojim. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Alright, welcome back from that short break, and it's the foodie time. Are you a foodie lover? Like, are you a fellow foodie? Are you a food lover? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, you know, we have people that eat. We have people that love food so much.
I think it depends on my mood generally, but I know I eat well.
You eat well and you eat healthy food.
Right, I eat well. I make sure I eat well.
You eat well and you make sure you eat well.
All kinds of food.
All kinds of food. Like, what's your best food?
Food, right?
Yeah, your best food.
I think it still depends on my mood, but I know I love white soup, right? And I love fried rice, depending on how I'm feeling. And then rice and stew is not bad, right? Then I love soups a lot, because where I come from, we do a lot of soups and swallow, right? So I love soups. I love afang.
Afang is my soup as well. So I think maybe that's why we are friends.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's time for taste and texture.
Hello guys, this is to specially welcome you to this episode of Taste and Texture, and it promises to be as engaging as it will be eye-opening. On the show, we're going to prepare a tasty delicacy that is indigenous, and we will be preparing it from scratch. In today's episode of the program, we'll be preparing Nigerian pancakes, which is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. This one is a Nigerian pancake recipe that differs from the original pancake version. Here, plantain, scotch bonnet, and onions are added to the mixture. Also, this breakfast pancake can be made very quickly by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Ingredients: flour, eggs, milk, sugar, salt, nutmeg, onions, scotch bonnet, and plantains. Step 1. Add your egg, milk, flour, nutmeg, salt, and plantain into a blender and blend till smooth. Pour the batter into a bowl. Add scotch bonnet and onions and mix. Step 2. Oil your pan till hot and add your batter. Cook your pancakes on medium to high heat. Flip your pancake after 2 minutes and allow to cook. Continue the process till your batter is all done. There you have it. Your Nigerian pancake is ready. You can pair it with pap, custard, or tea for full satisfaction. Enjoy! That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try this recipe in your various homes and hope you enjoyed the program. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. I am Saadatul Garba. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.